There is one Florida town where net domestic migration just fell 93% from its 2022 peak. Another where the foreclosure rate is now the worst in the entire country. A third where 2-year list prices have dropped over $77,000 per home. And another where a single condo association just mailed $400,000 assessment letters to every owner in the building. And it's not just one town. Across Florida, the housing map is cracking in places nobody saw coming. Markets where bidding wars used to end in 90 minutes now sit unsold for 95 days. Coastal towns are watching deals collapse at the closing table because no underwriter will sign the paper. Condo buildings Floridians used to brag about are getting 6-figure assessment letters mailed like overdue parking tickets. Here's the writing on the wall, people. The state everyone thought was still booming just fell from number 1 in America for domestic migration to number 8, behind Alabama. That's why today we're exposing the 15 Florida towns Americans have stopped buying homes in. First, we're going to show you the Florida metro that just ranked worst in the entire country for foreclosures, and it's not the one you're thinking of. Second, why the state just cut home insurance rates for the first time since 2019, and premiums are still the most expensive in America. Third, the exact condo building where every owner got hit with a $400,000 assessment letter, and why 1,438 more Florida buildings are on the list right behind it. Stick with us. Every homeowner, buyer, and real estate investor watching this needs to hear it. Let me show you the number that changed everything. According to the U.S. Census Bureau's vintage 2025 estimates released this January, Florida's net domestic migration went from 310,892 people in 2022, the highest in the entire country, to just 22,517 in 2025. That's a 93% collapse in 3 years. Florida fell from the top state in America to number 8, behind South Carolina, Idaho, North Carolina, Texas, Utah, and yes, Alabama. Eric Finnegan, VP of Demographics Research at John Burns Research and Consulting, told the Wall Street Journal in April that the affordability picture has changed in Florida almost more than anywhere else in the country. Every housing market runs on one equation: buyers minus sellers. When you remove nearly 290,000 net buyers a year in 3 years, the math doesn't work anymore. Sunshine and no state income tax don't matter when buyers stop showing up. That's where these 15 specific Florida towns come in. 3 forces converged at the same time. First, the insurance shock. Between 2017 and 2023, more than 30 property insurance providers left Florida, went insolvent, or pulled back from writing new policies. Second, the post-Surfside condo law. Senate Bill 4D forced every condo building 3 stories or taller and 30 years or older to complete milestone inspections. And House Bill 913, signed in 2025, set the reserve funding deadline at January 1st, 2026. The deadline every underfunded building in the state just missed. Third, the inventory glut. According to Realtor.com data, Florida's single-family listing prices have declined year over year every single month since March 2024. 3 straight years of price declines, and the migration engine that used to absorb all that supply, gone. If you own real estate in the Panhandle, on the Treasure Coast, or in Central Florida, this next part is for you. Number 15 is Panama City. Realtor.com data shows the metro median list price dropped 8.8%, or $38,575 from February 2024 to February 2026. Homes now sit for 95 days, an 89% jump. Number 14 is Destin, part of the Crestview Fort Walton Beach Destin Metro, which posted a 10.5% list price decline, the sharpest in the Panhandle. Median list is $575,000, down $67,350. Number 13 is Vero Beach in the Sebastian-Vero Beach corridor, down 8%, listings up 21%. Number 12 is Port St. Lucie, down 6.9%, active listings up 26.3%. But the real story starts with number 11, Lakeland, Polk County, right on the I-4 corridor. Polk County actually led the entire state of Florida for domestic in-migration in 2025. People are still moving in, and yet, according to ATTOM Data Solutions Q1 2026 foreclosure market report, Lakeland just posted the worst foreclosure rate of any metro in the entire United States. 1 in every 409 housing units. Number 1 in America. That's the answer to our first open door. And here's how a market can be growing and collapsing at the same time. Pandemic-era buyers who bought at 3% mortgages just got repriced by a 6.49% mortgage market and property taxes that jumped 179% over a decade. Growth on paper, foreclosure at the mailbox. Real quick, if this market intel is helping you make better decisions, hit that notification bell. We drop new housing data every week, and the viewers who catch it first get the best opportunities. The bell ensures you see everything immediately, not days later when the market's already moved. And Lakeland is not alone. Number 10 is Bradenton, Manatee County. Here's what most agents won't tell you. Redfin data through May 2026 shows Bradenton's price per square foot dropped 13.5% year over year. The median looks flat only because the mix of homes selling has shifted upward. Every underlying square foot is losing value. That's the metric to watch when the median lies. Number 9 is Sarasota, the cultural jewel of the Gulf Coast, now sitting on over 8 months of condo supply, more than double what a balanced market looks like. Number 8 is Northport, one of the fastest growing cities in America 3 years ago. Zillow's Home Value Index now shows values down roughly 10% year over year, one of the deepest declines in the entire country. Fastest growing to worst performing in 3 years. And here's where it gets really alarming. The next 2 towns share the same wound. Number 7 is Punta Gorda. That same ATTOM Q1 2026 report shows Punta Gorda posted the second worst foreclosure rate in the U.S. 1 in every 416 units. Number 2 in America. Median list price dropped 8.8% in 2 years to $387,788. Number 6 is Port Charlotte, in the same Charlotte County. Zillow's typical value is down 2.9% year over year. Median days on market, 166. That's over 5 months a home sits before it sells. Both towns took the direct hit from Hurricane Ian in 2022, and the insurance market for that corridor never recovered. The buyers who used to close in 30 days now can't get a quote in 60. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable, because the next 2 towns are supposed to be recession-proof. Number 5 is Marco Island, one of the most exclusive addresses in all of Florida. Broker Downing Fry Realty's April 2026 report shows single-family homes on Marco still command $1.7 million. Sounds like the wealthy are still buying, right? Look one line deeper. Condos in that same market dropped 14% to $538,000. When the wealthy pull back from the condos first, they're telling you what they think comes next. Number 4 is Naples, the gold standard of Florida luxury for 2 decades. Redfin data through May 2026 shows the Naples median sale price down 10.4% year over year to $1.3 million. And Realtor.com data shows the Naples Marco Island Metro's median list price dropped $120,450 in 2 years. That's the biggest dollar value decline of any coastal Florida metro on record. When the wealthiest Florida buyers stop showing up, the middle-class markets don't get a rescue. Here's the second open door I promised you. In January 2026, Governor DeSantis announced the first broad statewide home insurance rate cuts since 2019. Citizen Property Insurance cut rates 8.7% statewide. State Farm filed a 10.1% cut. Broward County came down 14%. Miami-Dade came down 14%. Sounds like good news, right? Here's the kicker. Even after those cuts, Insurify's 2026 report projects Florida's average premium at $8,458 for 2026. That's still roughly 3 times the national average. Florida still has the most expensive homeowners insurance of any state in America. And in Cape Coral specifically, Insurify's June 2026 data shows the average premium on a $300,000 dwelling policy is $8,544 a year. That's why Realtor.com's Climate Risk Report ranked Cape Coral 3rd in the country for insurance premium as a percentage of home value. 2.2% rates got cut, and premiums are still crushing buyers. Let me show you the math. A $350,000 house in Cape Coral, 20% down. At Freddie Mac's July 9, 2026 primary mortgage market survey average of 6.49%, your monthly principal and interest is about $1,770. Add property taxes of $410 a month, then insurance $712 a month. Your monthly payment before you've eaten a single meal is $2,892, which brings us to number 3, Lehigh Acres. Redfin shows the median down 6.1% year over year. Number 2, Fort Myers down 2.4%. And number 1, Cape Coral, Florida. According to Cotality, formerly CoreLogic, Florida led the entire country in home price decline through spring 2026. Cape Coral is the epicenter. Realtor.com data shows that Cape Coral Fort Myers metro median list price dropped 16.2%, over $77,000 in just 2 years. ATTOM ranks Cape Coral 5th in the entire country for foreclosure rate, and Cape Coral broker Adam Bartomeo put it on the record. What goes up must come down, and we're there. The prices couldn't stay that way, and people can't afford those mortgages. Before I show you the condo building at the center of this crisis and the 1,438 buildings just behind it, hit the like button if you made it this far. It tells YouTube to push this in front of more Florida homeowners who need to see the receipts. Now, the real payoff. Here's the third open door I promised you. Remember Senate Bill 4D? Here's the case that started it all back in 2024. The Cricket Club in North Miami, a 40-year-old high-rise, was one of the first buildings to publicly get hit. The association mailed a $30 million special assessment, roughly $134,000 per unit. One resident there, a retired real estate agent named Sari Papir, told the Wall Street Journal that units in her building were practically being given away, and even if she sold, the payoff wouldn't cover another purchase anywhere. That same year, Mediterranean Village in Aventura sent assessment letters up to $400,000 per unit. Those were warning shots. Fast forward to 2026, and it's no longer 1 or 2 buildings. Those were warning shots. Fast forward to 2026, and it's no longer 1 or 2 buildings. According to a Fannie Mae ineligibility list tracked by Florida law firm Alcock Marcus, 1,438 Florida condo buildings are currently frozen out of conventional financing. Those are the buildings where Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac refuse to back mortgages because reserves are underfunded or milestone inspections are incomplete. And here's the mechanism I promised you. Every condo building 3 stories or taller and 30 years or older with a milestone inspection deadline in 2026 or 27 that hasn't started reserve funding is next on that list. Statewide, that's thousands of buildings still in the pipeline. Florida statewide condo supply has already reached 13.2 months. 92% of major Florida condo markets are declining. Here's the controversial part. Florida's population isn't being hollowed out. It's being hollowed in the middle. Wealthy retirees still show up with cash. International buyers still absorb Miami luxury. That's why the top of the market looks fine on paper, but the working age middle class that fueled 15 years of Florida growth, they left. That's not a recovery. That's a demographic replacement. And it's why the 15 towns on this list are stuck. Let me give you the takeaways. If you're a seller in any of these 15 towns and you actually want to sell in the next 12 months, price aggressively now. Every month you wait is costing you money. The seller strike only holds until carrying costs break the math. If you're a buyer, this is exactly the moment to be patient and be surgical. Get the insurance quote before you get the mortgage approval. Get the structural integrity reserve study before you sign a condo contract. Your job in 2026 is not to find the deal. It's to survive due diligence. If you're a homeowner sitting on a sub 4% mortgage in one of these markets, don't panic. You still hold the strongest asset in your neighborhood. But if you're an investor looking for cash flow, stay away from anything in a coastal condo tower over 30 years old until the next round of special assessments prints. Bookmark this video, come back in 6 months and check every number against the next Redfin, Cotality, and ATTOM report. That's how confident we are in this data. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so the next video lands in your feed the moment it drops, and watch this one next. We'll see you next time. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so the next video lands in your feed the moment it drops, and watch this one next. We'll see you next time.